Howdy everyone. Today we are doing the notes for Tuesday, January 15th. So make sure you're doing your notes in your EN on the proper page. You should be on page 89 of your EN. And this is for Chapter Blue 6.5. Yesterday we talked about percent, and you had a formula that was part over whole equals percent over 100. And you use that formula over and over and over again to solve every single problem, and every single time your variable was right here, your x or your unknown value. It was the part. And anytime you saw it in your word problem, you always saw it with the word is. That was your key word, that was what was missing. You were finding out the actual value of the percentage, whether that value was money or students or fruit or hours or time. You're always finding out what percentage was the actual number. Today you're going to take that a little bit further, and you are going to be putting the variable in any place on here. The variable could be in the whole, it could be in the percent, it could be in the part. And everything's going to be in a word problem, so you need to know your key words. As y'all can tell, I'm doing this at school, and that was the bell. Your key words are going to be is, of, and percent. And you might see the word percent, and you might see the percent sign, either one. When you see this written out, you're going to see a word problem. It looks like, for example, what percent is 40? Actually, let's change that. Let's make it more like the book. It says, what percent of 60 is 40? What percent of 60 is 40? So in this, if you write the problem out on your paper, you can actually color code everything. So on here you have the word of goes with the number 60. The number always follows the word after, just like when you're speaking it. Of 60. You wouldn't put percent with the of, and you wouldn't put the 40 with the of. And then you have is 40. And then you have what is your variable. That's your variable because that's what you don't know. And that goes with percent. So in this case, when you set up the proportion, you're going to use the same proportion every time. You're still going to use part. You're still going to use part over whole equals percent over 100. But in this case, we're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to put is over of equals percent over 100. It means the exact same thing, but now we're using the words of the formula, or of the word problem. So we see the word of 60, so that's going to go right there. Is 40, that's going to go right there. What percent? That's going to go right there. So all you got to do is plug it in. The only thing that's different from yesterday is where your variable is. So I'm going to have x over 100, and my is 40, and my of is 60. So there's my formula, my proportion. I do my cross multiplication. Remember, always, always, always write down your proportion so you don't type it in your calculator wrong. I'm going to type it into my calculator, and I get 40 times 100 equals 4,000. I'm going to do 4,000 divided by 60. I do 4,000 divided by 60 equals, and I get 66.67. If it says round to the nearest tenth, then you would make 66.7. And you got to put a percent sign on it because it is the percent. Make sure you go watch the additional examples so you can see another problem, because this is not the only method. There is another method besides using a proportion. But y'all know, as soon as I'm using the free video software, I only get 5 minutes. As soon as we get our real software, I can make these longer. Not real long, just add a couple minutes and then we'll be done. Y'all have a great evening, and I'll see you in class. Bye.